what is that?
Yeah.
Who is she? You know what I mean? And how can I do that? You know?
Two voices, two of my favorite people that came up in this game. One being Queen Latifah. That was a clip from Untold Stories. You can hear or you can see Thursdays on WeTV. Executive produced and hosted by one of the most iconic voices to ever touch radio, ladies and gentlemen. One of the most magnificent people you're ever going to meet in this industry. Every time I see her, I get chills because of what she's accomplished. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, the voice of New York. Give it up for the one and only Angie Martinez. Hey!
Oh, my God. I love you guys. I'm going to call you every morning. You can give me that speech in the morning.
Oh, man. You know what? Well, I could just kind of record some and just send them to you. You know what I mean?
That would be amazing. Everybody needs a little, you know what I mean, just positive affirmation in the morning. I would like it in Sway voice. It would be incredible.
You know, that might be I don't know, maybe you might want to EP something like yeah. Just thought of that. That might be something we got to do. How you been, sis? You know, last time I heard you were going through a recovery process. How you been?
Oh, my God. It was the realest, Sway. I mean, I have to come up there and see you in person to really go to tell you that story. I've yet to tell that full story. But, yeah, man, I was in a terrible car accident. I have a big piece of metal or plastic or whatever it is in my back right now. But I'm walking and I'm, you know, and recovering, which I'm super grateful about. And then after that happened, then this quarantine happened. So it's been a very bizarre time.
Yeah.
But I'm really grateful and I'm really careful and mindful to not complain at all about anything because, man, it could have been worse for me. And also it's right, these times right now are so hard for a lot of people that, you know, for us who are so blessed to be complaining about anything right now, it just sounds crazy.
Yeah, the moment I fix my mouth or my mind fix itself to be tripping, I snap right out of it for that reason because I was always taught if you complain about your blessings, you'll soon lose them. And so
I believe that. That's probably why we always got along with that similar kind of sensibility about us. But I believe that too. And we joke, you know, we all be on Instagram, posting a little funny meme about being bored or, you know, bored or whatever. But then, you know, then you get a call from one of your friends whose parents not going to make it, or you get a call from, you know, one of your friends whose business is about to completely fail, or, you know, it's really hard time. People who can't pay their rent. It's really hard times for a lot of people. So you just got to keep that in mind. These healthcare workers out here that are getting up every day in it. I mean, I know we keep saying it, but man, when you really sit and think about what other people are going through right now, it is very real. It's very, very real.
And then the flip side of that too, you start really, like, I've received calls from people that I haven't even heard from in a while, just checking in. And then there's other people I haven't heard from since. You know what I mean? People that I'm around all the time that I haven't heard from, but then there's certain people that have been chiming in, and I've been like, wow, man, I really appreciate you checking in on me and my family. The flip side is you kind of find out who's going to be there in the time of crisis. You've had that experience too?
Yeah, I think so. I think anytime we go through, like, anything that's real like this, you know, anything that's this real is going to show you a lot about the people around you. It's going to show you even about yourself and what's important. I was talking to somebody earlier, and we were like, it's going to be interesting to see what type of music comes after this, because I think it's going to be, you know, because the things that people cared about before, you know, the flashy stuff, and I just think there's going to be a shift in tone in the music. Well, at least I hope there is. I hope it's, you know, not that there was anything wrong with one way. It's just that I think it's time for people to kind of really be reflecting and really offering something a little bit more to the world. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how the artists kind of translate that into music. But yeah, man, there's tons to learn about the people around you. There's tons to learn about ourselves in this moment. I mean, if you don't learn nothing in this time, then you was really playing around. You really wasted this opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's you really got to wake up because this is it. This is that moment, man.
Right. Angie Martinez is on the line with us. Tracy G, go for it.
Hi, Angie, thank you. Hey, thank you so much for joining us, Mom. I really appreciate it. Good to hear your voice.
Where are you guys? Where are you in the studio?
Hell no.
We are utilizing the power of technology. I'm in Brooklyn. Sway is in Harlem, and Heather is in Jersey.
Got it. Okay, good. Well, you sound good. You all sound like you're in the same place. It's important.
Yeah, that's
And then our engineer is in D.C., which is even more
Wow,
bananas.
that's crazy. Shout out to the engineers out here because they're keeping these lights on.
Exactly. When you were talking about your curiosity with the music that's going to be birthed from this pandemic, I've also been curious about the different media personalities that I think are going to come out of this pandemic as well. Seeing how everyone's got a new series on IG Live. And for some years now, there's been easier access into media as a host. And I'm wondering for yourself, like, do you think it's for our betterment or for our detriment? Because some folks can be like, there's too many voices who are representing the community at large, but we haven't really chosen them. There's just a lot of metrics. But then for some other people, they're like, no, the more the better, because we're not a monolith.
Yeah. I think it's both. I think it's for better and for worse. The same way, you know, when the music revolution happened and it went from like, you know, record labels owning your future and controlling everything to like everybody can kind of put their own music out. What happened? We got all these cool new artists, but we also got a lot of garbage. You know?
Right.
Oh my
The good
gosh.
comes in with the bad. So yes, you get all these, you get opportunity to see people that may not have had that opportunity. And you get to find those diamonds in the rough that may not have had the chance before. But then also you got to get a lot of garbage because the floodgates are open. When the floodgates are open, anything flies in. But, you know, and I think that we'll adjust to that. It's just, you know, everything's a constant adjustment. So I don't, you know, for me personally, it doesn't affect me. I think, you know, I'm always looking in my own lane. Like I'm always trying to figure out what my space, my lane, my next thing, how I'm going to stay inspired and motivated. But I think the times are going to shift a little bit. I think definitely the days of, you know, 5 gatekeepers or voices
Right.
are over. That's for sure over.
Yeah, we
You know.
right now we you know, I like how you said you stay in your own lane, you know, because you could get distracted with all those voices and all those noises and forget what it is.
Oh my God, it's so easy to, because you see somebody doing something else and you're like, oh, I got to do that too. You start being like, you know, you look at like somebody like me, right? I'll be like, this person's doing an Instagram, this person's doing an IG live show. Maybe I should do it. And then I have to say to myself, but do you want to do that right now? And then I have to say,
Right.
no, I do not. And I have to remind myself to not be influenced by what everybody else is doing. And what everybody else is doing is great. I look at my brother, Fat Joe, who's made a whole career now of this, and he's great. And I watch the show, and I'm entertained by him on Instagram Live. But I don't feel the pull to want to do that right now. And if I do tomorrow, if that changes, then I'll do it. But it has to be from me. I don't want to be, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be running on other people's race. I want to be like doing my own thing and whatever feels right to me and natural. And so, you know, one of the things is Thursday, you know, to get back to the show.
Let's get it.
We called me and was like, they want to rerun this, but they want to make it new, and they want me to check in with people in quarantine, and that felt right. That felt like something I wanted to do. Yes, I want to talk to people and get some stories from them, and you know, and see how people are in quarantine, and have a party. You know, did a viewing party, so it gets to be light and fun, and you can have a glass of wine with my people while they're home and talk about what's happening in the culture, and that's cool. And it's, you know, and it's once a week, and so that felt right for me. So it's really, you know, I think that this time is a time for everybody to really get in touch with what feels good for you, what feels right for you, what your goals are, what your purpose is, like all those heavy questions. This is the time when we're supposed to be asking ourselves those things. And it's really a time to not let outside noise, outside things kind of distract you or throw you off your path. I know that sounds a little like, you know what I'm saying?
That's a game. No, that's real. It's Angie Martinez,
So
and she talking about untold stories of hip hop this Thursday on WeTV. And you found something in your wheelhouse. But I love untold stories, you know, because absolutely. I saw the Wyclef, I saw Nelly, I saw A$AP Rocky. You caught him right at a turning point.
Yeah,
you know, of his life, and it's not too many people that folks are going to feel that comfortable. Just, man, look, Angie, I got to tell you everything. Like, it's shit. It's damn near therapy. You're a therapist, you know. But what I also like is, like, listening to Queen Latifah when you ask her about the landscape of hip hop at that time, and she talked about what it was that was, you know, seeing MC Light, you know, come out. Nobody I ever saw rap like that. And it makes me, the best thing, one of the best parts about this show is everybody's different context of what was happening during those times when certain things was happening, you know. And so, and I thought of you, Heather, when I was listening to Queen Latifah, because you guys are both from Jersey, and she was talking about that landscape of what was happening when, what was hip hop at in that space for her. What was it for you, Heather? You know, like, you know, when you hear Latifah talk about that, because then all of us could chime in on these conversations that Angie sparked.
Well, first of all, what's up, Ange? Thanks for calling
Hi,
into the
Heather.
show. What's up, man? Happy to call in. Congratulations, too, with your show. But it was pretty much the same. You got to remember, me being from Jersey City and La being from East Orange, that's about maybe a 10, 15-minute space away from each other, except that she was brave enough to take that chance and risk sneaking out the house and sneaking into the club. My mom's would have killed me, so I wasn't able to do that part of it. But you,
Come on, man. You never did that? You never did that?
Not Latin Quarters, and I couldn't. First of all, like, I couldn't even get into Latin Quarters, and La was probably with the right people to get her in, you know.
Right,
so she was moving around in that circle to get in. I ain't have a chance to get in there. So I missed that whole wave. You got to remember, that's what KRS-One and all these legendary things happened in Latin Quarters. It was the place to be, and what we used to hear about on the radio. You know, Jersey sort of felt like the outside for a long time, so you wanted to be in there, but that scene, I think we all, to a degree, just wanted to be a part of that community, you know, whether it was sitting up at night taping shows on the radio, couldn't wait to hear a song, listening to the same song over and over again, you know, playing it back on your tape, the fat shoelaces, the name and your sign on your sweatshirt, all of that was just a part of our culture. So I believe you know, you genuine about it, so you want to be in it. And the same for me with Light. I feel like Light doesn't get, not that she's not an icon and we don't know, but I think for any solo female artist, you had to look at MC Light like, wow, that's the bar. Like, she was the bar for sure.
Yeah,
she was the bar. There was nobody. There was the group thing for a while, and then like Shantae, of course. But again, to La's point, she was battling. Light was just her own thing. It was just like she had the name. She spelled it kind of funny. You know what I mean?
Voice
Like
was ill. Her voice was crazy.
Right, and her voice was ill. And I think it made people with funny voices like myself and heavy, you know, these accents that you can't really pinpoint, be comfortable with your voice. Like, she was the bar. She was the bar.
For sure. What I love, too, is, like, in the episodes that I have MC Light or Queen Latifah or even Cardi B's, like, everybody has stories to tell. Like, everybody has unique experiences, but there are common things that that people go through. And even just talking to all the different women and getting their own perspectives and hearing how, you know, MC Light would be in the clubs and she'd be worrying about getting robbed and, you know, dealing with promoters and, you know, things that new artists go through all the time still now. But hearing like legends like her talk about it, I don't know, it was just fascinating to me. And hearing Latifah talk about like some of her challenges coming in and the depression she went through when she lost her brother, but then still having to show up. Like, her career is skyrocketing. Like, she is the biggest thing we've seen in hip-hop, and she's at the most devastating time in her life, and she's still showing up, and she's still making it happen. Like, to me, yes, we know that. We know the story about her losing her brother, but when you really think about how somebody is starting a career like that a kind of career that we've never seen the likes of, and also dealing with the lowest part of her life, like, it's fascinating to me. And it shows the will and the drive and the strength of you know, that she has. Yeah. So she's inspired me beyond measure. So I was grateful that, because by the way, she didn't have to do my show. It was nothing like she totally did it because she just wanted to support and show love. And that's really who she is. So that's really was across the board. A lot of the artists just kind of just came to you know, they got a story to tell, and they showed up for me, which is dope.
Yeah, you're Angie Martinez.
Yeah, but come on, Sway. It doesn't matter. It's not, you never take that for granted for
Yeah,
1 second, because
yeah.
I could be Angie Martinez all day, but people still got things to do and lives and agendas. And, it's
Yeah,
just like,
that's a good point.
So when they still actually show up, I was super grateful. And I like it. Like, I like to learn about what people go through, and I like to learn about what it took to get to certain places. And so the process was dope. I loved it.
It's a great platform you have. Untold Stories this Thursday on WeTV. It's going to be a party. Now, people can Zoom in, or how does this work? Like, how are you able to?
No. These are Zoom. These are Zoom. These are virtual. They're virtual parties that we have done with people who are in the show. So it's like, and I'll probably be live that night when we do it, and we'll do a viewing party on mine too. People can join me. But what you'll see on Thursday is the first episode is the episode that Fat Joe and Ja are in, where Joe talks about when he lost Pun and he lost his sister at the same time when he was in this depression. But he also talks about the beef with Jay-Z and the whole Rucker Park thing. And so they tell those stories. And then Ja's in the episode too, talking about one time when they almost got kidnapped in Africa. And so when I got on the on the Zoom with them, we kind of got an update on where those stories landed after the show aired, and find out how they're doing in quarantine now. And me and Ja had a little wine, a little toast, a little, so it's kind of like a viewing party with some of the folks that were in the episodes, and also some people that aren't, that are just watching it with me for the first time, and kind of getting an update on and some new stories about what everything is. So, it was our way of kind of like continuing the conversation while everybody's home and in quarantine, and a kind of way to connect without being able to really, be in the studio and do a whole other season.
Yeah, I love it. By the way, Fat Joe, when we were talking about, getting through the fray and the noise, Fat Joe's IG show, the Fat Joe Show, is one of those ones that is stand out. That's one of the voices you want to hear. Joe is a natural at it. You know what I mean?
Well, let me tell you, there's two things. Number one, he is the hardest working person I know. Joe is not still in the game after all these years by a fluke or by accident. Joe is a hustler. He is going to work for it. He's going to show up every day. He's consistent with it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing if he did one show and then another show 2 weeks later. He's consistent. Every night he's on, and he committed to it, and he's doing it. And also, he's a phenomenal storyteller. He has been. Anybody who knows him knows that. So it's a great fit. It's a perfect fit for him.
And he has a amazing his memory. It's just Joe's memory, pinpoint, detailed memory of moments.
He's never smoked weed. He's never smoked weed. That's why.
Oh, is that what it is?
Of course, you know that weed. You know that weed affects your short-term memory or your long-term. It affects your memory. And he has never smoked weed.
That's what it is, man. Angie Martinez has joined us on Sway in the Morning. We got Kay on the line from North Carolina. Kay, good morning.
Hey, Kay.
Good morning.
Hey, yo, good morning. Checking back in with you guys 3 times. Oh, my God.
What's happening, Kay?
Listen, it would mean the world to me, Angie, if you could just say one time, easy, Poppy.
No, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
I wanted to say, we just going to ignore the fact that Angie got bars, though. We're going to talk about all this other stuff.
No. We went through that journey when she came to the studio. I almost got her, too, Kay. Almost got her to spit some fire, but...
Okay. That's my favorite joint, though, with her and Jay, man, and I just had to try my hand and dial the numbers, man.
Okay.
Angie, I'm glad you're doing good. I heard about it, saw the wreck and all of that. We couldn't lose you. What would we do? I mean, seriously. That's it.
Man,
that's all I got to say.
Grateful.
I ain't gonna hold you like y'all said. I ain't gonna hold you.
All right, Kay, you're a citizen, man.
Sway the morning.
Right,
make sure you check out WeTV on Thursday too. Untold Stories of Hip Hop, okay?
Oh yeah, I'm on it. All
right, my man. Breezy is in
I appreciate you.
Breezy is in Colorado. What up, Breezy?
Breezy.
Oh, hey, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow, I am talking to Sway and Angie Martinez.
You sure are. Good morning.
Hey, sorry, I'm sorry. I'm just taking it back. I didn't think it was going to happen. I just legitimately want to just say, thank you guys for all you guys have been doing, all this time. Sway, I remember as a kid listening to you on MTV, I'm Sway, 10 to the hour, every hour. You know, Angie Martinez, you too. You know, I've been listening to you forever. And when he started doing his description about you, you know, talking about you being the voice of New York, I've never actually heard you call that. I'm originally from Brooklyn, but I've been in Colorado for a hot minute and whatnot. But anyway, you know, I just want to thank you guys for everything you guys have been doing, and I'm glad that you're recovering well, Angie Martinez.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. I'm glad too. I'm super grateful and glad to. Trust me. So thank you.
Breezy, check out that show Thursdays on WeTV, okay?
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you.
All right, man. You're a citizen, Breezy.
Sway, morning.
Andrew, what up, man? Andrew in Florida. Good morning, Drew. Say hello to Angie Martinez. Hey, Drew, turn down your radio, Andrew. All right, he listening to the radio. That's a good sign, though.
He waiting to record. He
Let me
to blow up.
Watch this. You ready, Andrew?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, turn down your radio for me, brother. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Doing well.
I got a question for Angie. What is the hottest freestyle she's heard? I'm originally from New York, so I know she knows some of the hottest freestyles. Can she tell me one of the hottest freestyles she ever heard from a New York rapper?
Oh God, that's so hard. There's so many. You know, I've had Biggie freestyle on my show. So, you know, my reference point is extensive.
I go back. I say Meth. You know Meth. No DMX. No J.
She said Biggie, dog. That wasn't good enough.
But honestly, just as of late, I think some of my favorites as of late are probably not. As of late, I mean, I love God Bless, Rest in Peace, Fred the Godson. I love that his freestyle resonated again, and also My Son. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of people. I think
My Son in general, yeah.
Yeah, his freestyles was always hitting to me. Like because he always had something dope to say, and his bars are crazy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it is too many to say. I mean, shoosh. And just New York.
Yeah.
You said it just has to be New York, because some of them Philly. You know what I mean? One of my favorites ever was when we had all of Philly up there on the mic at one time.
State Property came up there. I remember State Property came up there. Beans.
Crazy.
Oh, man.
That was one of my favorites of all time, because they were spitters. I mean, I know they wasn't from New York, but to me, Philly's like New York's cousin. Like, we the same thing.
Same thing, right? They got spitters. Hey, Drew. Hey, Drew, thanks for your call, man. You a citizen. I'm going to take one more caller. Her name happens to be Angie, and she's from Boston. What up, Angie?
What? Wait, am I officially a citizen?
You are officially a citizen.
A swing in the morning.
Yeah, boy. I've been listening to you since like 99 of my Maxima.
Oh, damn. You had a Maxima in 99?
Back then.
Yeah, what were you doing?
I just want to say thank you for what you, Sway, have a B. Also, Angie. I'm Angie as well. You guys are doing great for the culture. And I ain't done with the mumble rap because, you know, this new generation, everybody wants a piece of it. But they're not cut from the same cloth, you know?
Well, you know, you got to give these kids a shot, man. You know, I always give them a shot. Even if I don't like a song, Angie, you might like the artist.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I always give these kids a shot. Come on, man. That's the same stuff they said about us when we were coming up.
100%. People always forget. You always forget. Everybody's always like, nah, it was about bars. I'm like, it was about bars, but we also loved Akinelli. You know, like, we also loved Bismarck.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and not everybody had to be super bars and lyrical. Sometimes we just like music because it made us feel good. And I think, you know, you got to look at what the kids like now, what makes them feel good. And sometimes it might be a little different, but I'm definitely open to, I definitely am not into, like, one's better than the other. I think things just evolve, things change, things are different. I mean, I have my favorite artists, of course. Mm-hmm. But I'm like you. You got to leave people room to evolve.
Wiggle room. I mean, a lot of these we were talking about earlier how now so many platforms for the artists to come out and see. When we were coming up, you had to go through the A&R process before you were even released. Things had to get approved. Things had to get remixed, whatever. And so a lot of these kids, I had this thing I say, they were practicing in front of us, and 2 years later, you might listen to some of these artists. You hear A Boogie make an amazing project, or somebody you might have thought was a mumble rapper back in the day. Think of how many people shitted on Future.
Exactly. No, 100%. Exactly.
Yeah, then look what he's become. So he's not a good example. Future been putting in work for longer than that, though. But, it's been a lot of artists that we saw develop and evolve, and you got to give them a
write
shot.
off. They just write you off so fast. Yeah. They write you off.
I think Migos. I don't think people expected Migos to have this type of extendo career that they've had throughout the years.
That's a good point too. Angie, you know you're a member of our show, so thank you for tapping in.
Listen, man, anytime. I can't wait to be able to come in person and sit down with you guys. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I look forward to the day.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Yeah, I know it will. I'm glad all you guys are healthy and safe. And
you too.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and continue. I watch you and I go, okay, I can still do this.
Find inspiration where we can. I know.
I'm peeking at it.
Stay inspired, right?
Absolutely. Angie Martinez, round of applause. Don't forget We TV this Thursday. Untold Stories of Hip Hop. Angie, I'll reach out. Okay? Take care.
Thank you, guys. Love y'all.